Plenty of sources this morning, Dan Rowan of the BBC and plenty more besides as well, suggesting that the Premier League is going to be suspended. There's an emergency meeting that will take place at 10:30 this morning, and that game's going to be postponed this weekend. They'll take a call on that after that, and it's at 10. Is that right? 10 a.m. Is that what you're saying to me? 10:30. So well, that's what we assumed happened there. What Tommy was actually saying was Kevin Kilbane is on the line. Good morning to you, Kev.
Good morning, Adrian. How are you keeping?
I'm all right, I suppose. I'm fit and healthy, and that's as good as you can ask at this point. How are you keeping?
Yeah. How's everybody in studio there? Everybody good?
Yeah, we've not many is the thing. We're heeding the advice from Leo Varadkar yesterday, and we've got teams here. Hither and yon is the approach, and you were due to be in with us this morning as well. And obviously, that's we weren't in a position to be able to do that. But sure, look, here's where we are. First things first. You were watching the United game last night. Yeah,
United very impressive. Actually, I mean, I think as we've seen this week, playing behind closed doors, I don't think it's certainly helping some of the sides. Olympiacos, whenever anyone's seen Olympiacos play at home, they give the very good sides a decent game, but behind closed doors, the other night it was poor. Last night against United, very poor. Valencia the other night as well played behind closed doors. It's not giving them any advantage, and you just feel as though it's the right time just to put everything on hold, give everyone a break, give everyone a breather from it all now, and let's concentrate on the more important things, because United cruised through the game last night. It was cruise control, honestly, it really was.
Yeah, the quality, we were talking to Andy Minton a bit earlier in the show, sort of making the point that obviously it's hard to judge United on the basis of quality last night. Like, they're not they're a badly financed team in relation to Premier League sides, obviously without a lot of players, no crowd in, like how do you judge it? But that said, obviously they go ahead and they thump last night and do it very impressively. John Giles was on the show last night, Kev. He was talking about the impact of Bruno Fernandes, and I would try and sort of represent his point. He was saying that he's a fan of Fernandes. He was a fan of what he brings to the game, what he brings to that team. But he was making the point that he's not so sure about him when United are on the back foot, that maybe he disappears out of the game a little bit in a way that he'd like to see him get a bit more involved at that time. What's your take on that?
Well, I'll tell you what, Adrian, I don't see his work rate being a problem. He worked so hard from the front, and he played last night off Odi Nagalo, so he's almost the first person in midfield that's got to go and put press on and discipline, getting back into shape. I've honestly not seen that sort of side of his game. I think the work rate that he's brought to United, I think he's given them a little bit of an extra spark without the ball as well. They look very, very well organised. I think it's 2 goals they've conceded now in 11. In this unbeaten run that they're on. They look well organised. Harry Maguire starting to seriously become a leader at the back for United now. Luke Shaw's playing extremely well. Even Fred's doing great alongside McTominay or Matic, whoever he's been playing against. But Fernandes at the tip of it, at the top of midfield, no, I honestly haven't seen that, because I think he's given United a bit more of a spot. Anyone that's seen United, and when we've been on the show over the last 3 or 4 years, we spoke about United being lethargic, on the ball, not moving the ball quick enough, but it's more being without the ball. It's just being prepared to sit off teams and just get back into shape. Van Gaal had that way about him. Mourinho had that way about him. Well organised, yes. Distance is right all over the pitch, but no energy without the ball. With Fernandes, they've got real energy, I think, with and without the ball now. Yeah,
it's the obvious sort of question that when a player like that comes on the scene and United become so reliant on him, and like there's so much good about United, I suppose, at the minute. Is it? Do you have any sense of it papering over the cracks that, like, Solskjaer's obviously, you see, even when, like, he was brought off the other day, maybe it might have been in the City game, and Solskjaer's all over him with the high fives, and like, in a way that you're looking at it going, Solskjaer's like, you are going to be the reason I'm going to stay at this club for a little while longer. But is there any sense that like, it's papering over in some quarters it's been put out there that obviously Solskjaer is now the grand plan is coming together. So is it that, or is it that Bruno is just a bloody brilliant player and they're very reliant on him?
Well, I think he is a brilliant player, yeah. I mean, you're very cynical, Age, and you see things that we all can't see, and maybe none of us will ever see. So that's maybe something very different. But I think with Solskjaer in there, for him to turn the results around the way that he has, because he was under serious pressure. United have been under serious pressure for a long time now. To get the results, the way that they've been playing, I have liked watching them. Certainly, organisation, they've been very good, as I was saying before, but they had to be better going forward. And the one thing that was very noticeable about them last night, particularly when they've got Fernandes in the side, he's playing in the 10 role, he's got very much of a free hit and role he wants on the pitch when they don't have the ball. Sorry, it's my phone there. I think they've got so many runners off the man on the ball now. If you watch even Greenwood's goal and Odi Nagalo's playing the shoulder of defenders, because they're prepared to make that run now, because they've always got a player on the half turn that can take the ball. I think with Juan Mata, when he's played in that position, he doesn't have the energy. I think he takes too many touches on the ball personally. I think Fernandes is quite clever, where you'll see at times things not necessarily coming off for him, but he'll be turning balls around the corner first time, looking for little give and goals, 1-2s, and United haven't had that, I think, for a long time. So I think Solskjaer, of course, yeah, is he going to be part of the grand plan over the next 2 or 3 years? I don't know. We'll wait and see on that one. But United have got much better structure to the side. They look, as I said before, better organised when they don't have it. But certainly, it looks to me like there's a lot more thought about things when they do have the ball now. And in the last third of the pitch, they're a lot better and creating a lot more chances.
Kevin, there's obviously widely varying reports about when Euro 2020 is going to be played. There's every chance it doesn't get played in the year 2020. It means Ireland could be facing into Euro 2021. It was obviously the championships that if we were to qualify for, it was going to be Mick McCarthy's last act as Ireland boss. In your view, if you're involved in the FAI now, do you honour the agreement that Mick McCarthy gets to take Ireland into European Championships, or is it by date? Is it a situation where Stephen Kenny will be managing Ireland should we qualify for a tournament next year? Well,
it's a tough one. This is unforeseen, isn't it? If we qualify, I'd feel that Mick would have to take the side to the Euros. That's the way that it would have to be, and everything, I suppose, goes on hold for a year. It's such a unique situation, but. What would you say to Mick if he got us to the Euros, we've qualified, and then all of a sudden he can't take the team to the major tournament? I don't know. I generally can't see that happening. It's such a strange situation. What would happen with qualification for the next World Cup as well, and of course the Nations League that's due to start in September as well. There's so many different things that's going to be happening before the Euros, where Stephen Kenny was supposed to be taking over. So, do you know what? I don't know how they can work that one if for qualifying in Nations League and all these sort of things. I don't know how they can work that. But if we qualified and the Euros were moved to 2021, I'd feel that Mick would have to take the job. Yeah, he'd have to stay in charge.
Yeah, I assume that actually because we're not in normal circumstances, and like I think you're right actually, and I think that it's a conversation with Stephen Kenny that you assume he responds to in a positive sense, that like, look, things have changed, here's a new timeline. Like, you couldn't really, if Mick sort of got them to qualify, you couldn't then say, listen, thanks a million, good luck to you. Like that,
yeah.
I just don't see that.
I'd feel that myself, Adrian. I would. It seemed incredibly harsh on Stephen Kenny himself. You know, obviously he's waiting for the job. This is his ultimate job, the one he would have wanted his whole career. But I don't know. Can you imagine being within the FAI and you having to have these conversations now? It's bizarre the way that everything's transpired in the last few weeks, and certainly the level that we're at now, and we're still even talking about playing football with what's been happening. But I'd feel as though that Mick would. How can they not have a manager who's taken the team to the tournament when the contract was to be until the end of the Euros? If it shifted, regardless, I'd feel as though he'd have to stay in charge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that obviously to be monitored. I think we're just going to let you go, Kev. The one thing that I'm sure people are wondering as well, it must be a nightmare year to be planning a wedding. What is going to happen in your own personal situation this year?
We're talking sport this morning, Owen. You know, I've said to the powers that be, we're not talking anything about personal stuff now. So no,
I didn't ask you, Kev. That's the key here.
That's it. If there's not one ginger fella coming at me, there's another. So, you know, just give me a break, will you, lad?
Talking about Kevin Kilbane's personal life is definitely something we're going to have to do an awful lot more of, Kev, just so you're aware.
Is that right?
As the sport diminishes, right, the graph of sport diminishing and your personal life coverage they're going to be going in opposite directions. Yeah,
no, but I do you know what, Owen? I don't really know what's happening at the moment as well. So the plans are coming along slowly at the moment, but yeah, we'll hopefully have something in place over the next few weeks. So yeah.
Right, listen, stand by your Skype, Kev, because we're going to be ringing you a lot over the next little while.
All right, not a bother.
Whatever part of the world you might be in. Good man, take it easy. Kevin Kilbane on the line there. Great to chat to him as always, get his thoughts on plenty of things. What do you think, Owen, by the way, if you're still there? What's your thought on what should happen with the Stephen Kenny, Mick McCarthy situation?
It's a very, very tricky one. I think it is an unusual situation where a manager to qualify you for a tournament and not be able to manage that team in said tournament. I think you kind of have to honour that. Like, it's a big if whether or not Ireland qualify, obviously, but I think it'll be a very, very difficult thing to turf them out after that. It's a shame because you do want to see Stephen Kenny get in there ASAP. Nothing against Mick McCarthy, but because there are a bunch of youngsters about to come into the team that Stephen Kenny knows very, very well. And for the new Nations League campaign, you wanted Stephen Kenny to be their manager as they start to rack up the senior caps. So it's a tricky one, but I think really you've got to give it to Mick if he qualifies them for Euro 2021, if that is what it becomes.
Yeah, all right. I think that's your involvement for the morning. Over on, if I'm right?
Well, I think that is right. So enjoy the Cheltenham show. I'll be keeping my ears pricked to maybe the last bit of sport we ever have.
I know. Tell your housemates we said good morning.
I think they already know that.
Good luck. Owen Shane on the line there from his gaff this morning. There'll be a little bit more of that over the next few weeks as well, we can assure you. But that's almost it from OTB AM for this morning. But do stay tuned. Our Cheltenham preview show with thanks to Paddy Power is up next. If you're listening at OTB Sports Radio as well, by the way, via the Go Loud app or indeed on the website on offtheball.com, you can just stay with us. You're going to hear Rishdard's rugger thing upcoming, which will keep you nicely entertained as we get prepped for the Cheltenham show. And if you're on YouTube, a new stream from Off the Ball will appear in the next few moments as well. Off the Ball, by the way, back in your radios tonight from 7 o'clock. We're going to have reaction from the final day of Cheltenham Premier League decision as well, and what they're doing this weekend. That's expected very shortly, so we'll have plenty of reactions to follow out from that. Hit subscribe to the OTB AM podcast, fully time-stamped as well, so it's really useful and making it easy for you to find out exactly what you want every morning